28th of May. Um, Rabbi Levitt, substituted by Rabbi Fabian, um, Ezra. Hey.
Okay. I just decided to start learning some Gemara while I was waiting. I'm holding in Gemara Yuma Yerushalmi.
Oh, wow.
It's talking about the second base of Migdash. Um, in the first base of Migdash, there were 18 Kohanim. In the second base of Migdash, there were 80, some say 81, 82, 83, 84. So it says that in the first base of Migdash, they were tzaddikim, whatever, and they lived a long time. In the second base of Migdash, they were buying the position. One time, someone sent two baskets of silver to buy the position. He was going to get it. Someone sent two baskets of gold, so he got it instead.
Hi.
And the thing was that they know most of them didn't live. If you look at the calendar, I don't think the average lifespan of the Kohanim Gedolim in that Kufa was less than a year.
Wow.
Because they went in. They used to send them into the Kodesh Kadoshim with a string tied to them so they could pull them out. But somehow people kept buying it. It's amazing how people were willing to, you call it, give their lives for the chance that maybe they're going to make it through. Okay, so just one second. Let me put my Gemara back, and I'll be ready with you. Either way, we need to stop at 11:30. Either way.
Okay.
So why don't we start up? We left off with where we were holding by Kaf Dalet or Kaf Hay or something like that. Maybe Kaf Hay as of Mavis. I don't remember. Someone remembers we were by Kaf. I know we were either Kaf Dalet or Kaf Hay if I remember.
Hold it. If I can read my Kaf Dalid.
Okay. Who I don't remember who was last. Lou, why don't you start either way, and then we'll continue with Mayor.
Okay, Kaf Dalid. B'nai Az Maves are Ba'im Ushnaim. Okay, 24. The people of Asmaves is 42. Let's see, the commentary says the people of Asmaveth in Nehemiah, they are referred to as Anshe Beis Asmaves, the people of Beis Asmaveth.
It sounds like a place of death. It doesn't sound so great. Their number is very small.
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't sound good to me either.
Yeah, but if you divide up the word Az Mavet, doesn't that mean a goat is dead? Could it be referring to sacrifices?
I don't know. It's an interesting question. I'll see if I have any Peirush on it. Just a minute. I'm
Okay.
trying to glance through all the different Peirushim on my Mikras Gedolas. And so far I haven't found there's a number of Peirushim on the next pasuk, but on that pasuk, there doesn't seem to be. I don't have a word on it.
No, okay. I'm just curious, but okay. Because it doesn't have any explanation like that in our Sefer here.
Right. I mean, just I mean, Oz has a number of different Oz. Oz can be a lashon of brazen, Ozus.
Oh, right. It's what my grandma used to say, Asis Punim.
Right. And maybe there was something. I mean, also it's the smallest number of in the populous list that we've had until now by a long shot. So besides in the psukim, it's the smallest. It's like it has 4 words, has 42 people, has an Oz Mavis doesn't sound so great.
Right.
So whatever, I don't know. Okay, anyway, let's continue. Go ahead, Lou, the next pasuk or
Okay, let's see. That would be Bnei Kiryas Arim Kefira Uve'eros Shiva Meos Va'arba'im Ushlosha. Okay, so let's see, 25. The people of Kiryat Arim, Kefira, and Beeroth, 743. The commentary says the people of Kiryat Arim, Shefira, and Beeroth. Ibn Ezra explains the children of Kiryat Arim, the children of Kefira, and the children of Beeroth. In Nehemiah, they are listed as Anshe Kiryath Arim, the people of Kiryath Yarim. In Yoshua, Kiryath Yarim is mentioned as a city belonging to the tribe of Yehuda. And in 1 Shmuel, it tells how the sacred ark was brought to this city.
Kiryat. Today we have a place called Kiryat Yarim, not Arim. This is Kiryat Arim, but it's Telstone is Kiryat Yarim. I don't know if there's any connection.
Wow.
Okay, Mayor, why don't you continue with Pasuk Kaf Vav?
Okay. Will do. Kaf Vav. Okay. Oh, okay. B'nai Harama Vagava Sheish Meot Esrim Ve'echad. Okay, so the people of Ramah and Gava were 621. Okay, Kaf Hey, does that have okay. I just did Kaf Hey or Kaf, no, I did Kaf Vav, I'm
Kaf
sorry.
Vav.
Okay,
Ezra
so there is
with a few
one
words.
footnote. It just says B'nai Haramah, the people of Ramah. In Nehemiah, it was Anshe Haramah, the people of Haramah. Okay, let's see. Kaf Zion. It says Anshe Michmas Me'et. I'm sorry, Mea Esrim Ushnayim. Okay. So the people of Michmas were 122. And there's no comment in our Sefer for that. 28. Anshe Beit El V'ha'ai Matayim Esrim Ushlosha. So the people of Beit El and I were 223. And the comment here is on Shei Beit El Vahai. It just says, it's just giving a reference. The people of Bethel and I, and in Nehemiah, it's verse 22. And then it has 123. I'm not sure what that means.
That's the number. That's the number of people.
Oh, in Nehemiah, it's only 123. Here it's 223. Okay.
We didn't say here. Anshe. Oh,
Well, it says in the text that the B'nai Bethel and I are 223.
right, 223. Right. Okay.
So apparently Nehemiah had a different count.
Right. Okay. Lou, why don't you continue with a couple of psukim?
B'nai Nevo Chamishim Ushnayim. People of Nebo 52. Commentary says the people of Nebo was the name of a person, not a place. Nehemiah referred to them as the people of Nebo Aher, and Mitsudos there assumes it to be a city. B'nai Magbish Me'ah Chamishim V'Shisha. The people of Magbish, 156. I'm going to read the next one because the commentary is on. I don't know. The commentary is only on this one. Okay, never mind. So the commentary says the names Magbish, Elam, Harim, Lod, Hadid, and Ono refer to persons rather than places. And the name Elam, this is a different Elam. This Elam was different from the Elam mentioned above. Although coincidentally, the number of returnees listed is identical. B'nai Elam Acher Elef Ma'sayim.
Okay. So what? Go ahead. I'm not sure who's next. Whoever's next, go ahead.
I'm just reading the next pasuk. The people of a different Elam, 1,254.
1,000.
Right, that's Lamed Aleph.
Right.
Okay. I don't think there's anything on that, is there?
No.
Okay. Mayor, why don't you go to Lamed Base?
I have something, but I think Lou mentioned this. It said that this Elam was different from the Elam mentioned above. That he said, although coincidentally,
Right, he read that already.
You read that. Okay, that was 31. Okay, 32. So I'm at 32 now. B'nai Harim, Shalosh Mayot V'Esrim. Okay, so the people of Harim were 320. Let's see. And then B'nai Lod, Hadid Ve'eno Shiva Me'ot Esrim V'Chamisha. Okay, so the people of Lod, Hadid, and Ono, 725. That was what? That was Gimel. Yeah, he's just saying the people of Lod, Hadid, and Ono in Nehemiah had 721 instead of 725. Okay, Lamed Dalid. Bino Yirecho Shalosh Meyot Arba'im V'Chamisha. So the people of Jericho, 345. And
That's a
then
place we know.
that's right. And he comments, Jericho, this is the walled city vanquished by Yoshua. That's in Ibn Ezra. Okay.
B'nai Sana'a shaloshes alafim v'sheish me'os ushloshim. The people of Sana'a, 3,630. Wow, that's a big difference.
Right. That's one of the biggest. I don't know if we had a number that big. It's very interesting. Some of the, how they're 3,600 with 3,630. And, we had the other one that was, 42 and, a lot of different numbers. I don't know, like how it ended up that some families were so small, some families were middle, and some families were giant. It's very interesting.
The people of Sana'a, the children of Sana'a were members of the tribe of Benjamin, according to Tosfos in Eruvin. They were among the donors of the temple firewood. In the early days of the Second Temple, and were given the exclusive right to celebrate the temple wood offering annually in the 10th of Av, according to Tanis. In Nehemiah, the number is 3,930.
It's very interesting that that's Binyamin, because in the Misa of Pelegish Lagiva, the Binyamin almost got wiped. Shevet Binyamin almost got wiped out.
Right.
They let a small number live just so the Shevet shouldn't be wiped out.
Did they make something about marrying to some provision for them to get married?
I think they did that also. I don't remember what it was though. I mean, the ones who were killed, I don't know. I assume the ones who were killed were the men. I don't know. When they wiped them out, I don't think they were wiping out women and children. I don't know. I thought it was the men that were that almost got wiped out. Maybe they allowed them to marry. They had multiple wives or whatever. I don't know. Help repopulate the Shevet. I don't know. It's one of the mice that I don't really understand. It was a very strange story there.
Yeah.
The whole thing is not understandable. One of the hardest maisim in the whole of Tanakh.
Well, the story of David and Bathsheba is pretty difficult also.
The David and Bathsheba.
Yeah. The Gemara says he didn't sin.
Right, he didn't.
And he himself says, I sinned.
That was on his madrega. She was a zivug min hashamayim for him. He had a nevuah that from her was going to come Shlomo HaMelech, was going to be Mashiach. What he made, his only mistake was that he was supposed to he manipulated the situation to move forward the event that he knew was supposed to happen instead of waiting and letting it happen according to the Ratzon of Kadosh Baruch Hu. And that he did that had a precedence coming from the Avos. You see that Yosef Atzadik did things to see his nevuah come true. So David HaMelech learned from Yosef Atzadik that you're supposed to see your nevuah come true and manipulate events for it. and but his situation was a different one, and he wasn't supposed to manipulate events. He was supposed to be patient and let Kadosh Baruch Hu adjust the situation and bring about his true zivug and the Mashiach ben David, and ultimately Shlomo HaMelech, who was Bathsheba through David was the mother of. And her husband, her previous husband, was Chayav Misa in any case. But what happened, what relative to David's Madrega, as the tzaddik David was, it was it was a, it was like he didn't sin on a level that's what we would call a sin. It's like saying Moshe Rabbeinu sinned by hitting the rock. There's no sin to hit a rock, but according to and he spoke to the rock. Kadosh Baruch Hu told him to speak to the rock, and he did. The rock moved, and he didn't know which rock it was. It was a madrega, that we very, very, when they put the microscope in, Chazal's trying to figure out what the problem was. So the same thing with David HaMelech. We're, looking at it with a fine microscope on David HaMelech, who we know was one of the was the Seva Roim, and his Mashiach ben David is one of the greatest people in the history of the world, and certainly one of the greatest people in Klal Yisrael, which is also Klal Yisrael is the greatest people in history. So, and even when they say in Sudas, when the Mashiach, when the there's Tchias Amesim, and they have a Sudas Livyasan, they go to each one of the Avos, Abraham, and they ask who's going to lead the benching in the Suda. And the Avram says, I can't. I had a son, Yishmael. I can't. Yitzhak says, I can't. I had an Esav, and I can't. Whatever. Each one declines benching. And David HaMelech says, I can bench. And it seems to be he was right. So, and it says that David HaMelech wanted to be one of the seven, wanted to be one of the seven of the four, wanted to be one of the three Avos. He wanted to be an Ab, and ultimately it says that he was Zeichet to that through an Nisayon that he passed. He became essentially the fourth leg of the Merkava. So David HaMelech, it's not so, he did not on any technical level, but the fee his greatness on a fine level, he did something wrong. The fee Madrega so. He should have waited, and he didn't wait. That was his mistake, as far as I understand. But it was a very, very fine test for a person on the level it's like, if stop and think, if we should be able to make it through 1 hour without doing any type of sin, it's, believe it or not, it's not an easy thing to make it through an hour. Make it through even a shorter period of time, because we have all kinds of things we do wrong in our makshavas, in our maisim. The madregas they're on are so much higher. It's not, we get schar according to where we're at. In other words, they ask the question, how is Mashiach going to come? If bigger generations weren't zoichet to Mashiach, how could a smaller generation like us be zoichet to Mashiach? And they give an answer, and they say that there's two different types of answers. One is that it's a cumulative effect. In other words, Mashiach is not going to come because of just what we're doing. There is thousands of years of Yidden who did things that we're going to do the final brick in the picture of the building of the Beis Hamikdash. And the final picture that we're going to be Zeicha to a Gula. That's one aspect. The second aspect is because of how far we are away from a Kadosh Baruch Hu, how far we are in the generations, that smaller things that we do have a greater effect. And therefore, even the Maisim that we do is very significant that when earlier generations, because they were so big, if they would have done what we're doing, of course, it would have been called sins. By us, it can be called the mitzvah big enough to perhaps bring Mashiach. Okay, let's continue onward for the time that we have until we have another 10 minutes.
Okay, let's see. Oh, this is appropriate. HaKohanim, B'nai Yedaya, Levitt, Yeshua, Tisha Me'od, Shivim Ushlosha. So the Kohanim, the children of Yediah, the house of Yeshua, 973. It says here, HaKohanim. The Kohanim, Rashi notes that all those registered above in verses 3 to 35 belong to the tribes of Judah and Benjamin. Having completed the list of the two tribes, the text now turns to the Kohanim and the Levites, which is verses 36 to 42. This sequence, first Judah and Benjamin, then the Kohanim and Levites, correspond to the order followed in chapter 1, verse 5, in describing those who responded to Cyrus's proclamation. So the heads of the families of Judah and Benjamin and the Kohanim and the Levites got up to ascend. Okay, then it has a sizable comment on B'nai Yedaya, Levitt, Yeshua. The children of Yedaya, the house of Yeshua. Yediah was a descendant of Yeshua, and that's from the Mitzudot. According to Malbim, the order of ancestry is reserved. Yediah
Reversed.
is reversed. I'm sorry. Thank you. I reversed some of my letters there. Okay, was reversed. Yediah was a family patriarch, and Yeshua was his descendant. The returnees were members of Yeshua's household. The Talmud in Tanis observes of the 24 families of Kohanim who had served in the first temple, only 4 now heeded Cyrus's call and went up from exile. The families of Yediah, Immer, Pashur, and Harim. The Kohanim who performed the sacrificial rituals during the first temple were divided by King David into 24 family groups, each of which officiated at the temple services for a period of 1 week. The sequence of alternating weeks of service for the groups was determined in King David's time by the drawing of lots, and remained fixed throughout the duration of the first temple. When Cyrus called for the construction of the second temple, and only 4 families of Kohanim mentioned here emigrated from Babylonia, the prophets among them divided each family into 6 groups. The total then correspond to the 24 companies of Kohanim who had served in the first temple. As in the case of the first temple, each group was assigned to the temple for 1 week, and the order of rotation was decided by lots. The system of rotation thus determined was binding throughout the period of the second temple, as shown in the following example. The family of Yehoiarib preceded Yediah in order of service in the first temple. But Yehoiarib's group did not heed Cyrus's invitation, whereas the children of Yediah immigrated. Should Yehoiarib have later gone up to Jerusalem and joined the Kohanim at the temple, he would have been subordinate to Yediah, he would have followed Yediaiah's turn of service. Yehorib had forfeited his primary position among the Kohanim by failing to respond to Cyrus's proclamation. And that's all from Tanis.
Appropriate. It could. You're a Kohen. You're reading about the Kohanim coming up.
Right. That's true.
Okay, Lou, why don't you read the next pasuk?
Okay. Let's see. B'nai Pashhur Elef Ma'asayim Arba'im V'Shiv'ah. The children of Immer, 1,052. B'nai Harim Elef V'Shiv'ah Asar. The children of Pashur, 1,247. Let's see.
It seems to me that I'm a little confused here. You read a translation on a different sync with the pasuk. It sounded like to me. There's pasuk Lamed Zayin that's B'nai Imer Elef Chamesh Ushnayim 1,050 and 52. B'nai Pashhir is 1,247, and B'nai Harim is 1,000 shivim, whatever. B'nai Harim 1,017.
Oh, I think anyway. The verse.
What was that?
I think I skipped a verse.
Right, that's right. I think you skipped the first one. B'nai Imer.
Okay, so the children of Immer was 1,042. The children of Pashur, 1,247. The children of Harim, 1,017. And then the commentary here on the children of Pashur, Rashi to Tanis is perplexed by the Talmudic statement that the family of Pashur served in the first temple, since that name does not appear in 1 Chronicles among the families of Kohanim appointed to the temple service. Bach explains that the Pashur family appears in Chronicles under some different name. And then 9 says the children of Harim. This is not the Harim mentioned in verse 32, but the family of Kohanim, according to Mitsudos.
Okay, Mayor, why don't you read that would be Mem, I think.
Okay.
Mem about the Levim.
Okay. The Leviim b'nei Yeshua v'Kadmiel livnei Hodavia Shivim v'Arba. So the Levites, the children of Yeshua, and Kadmiel, of the children of Hodavia, 74. And it's a quick comment here of the children of Yeshua and Kadmiel, the children of Hobadiah. Yeshua and Kadmiel were themselves descended from Hobadiah. Oh, okay. I know we're going to get cut off soon, I think, but let's 41.
And if we're going to get cut off, but yeah. You can read if you want to read a quick pasuk because I have to get going at 11:30. I just have something to
B'nai Hasarim, B'nai Shalom, B'nai Ater, B'nai Talmon, B'nai Akuv, B'nai Hatita, B'nai.
Wait, did you read Mem Aleph? Hamishorim?
Hamishorim, B'nai Asaf, Mea Esrim, Ushmona, which is the singers, the children of Asaph, 128. Okay, so Hamasharim, the singers, the Levite singers, the Levites were required to fulfill three duties at the temple. They served as guards, standing watch at specific areas on temple grounds. They were gatekeepers, opening the temple gates in the morning and closing at night. And they stood on a special platform and sang Hashem's praises while the offerings were brought. Okay.
Okay, we'll leave it with that. If I don't know if I'm going to be here. I mean, I'll be available tomorrow, so it depends on whether Ruvain should be arriving tonight. So it depends if he's up to giving the shir. If he's up to giving the shir, so it was nice being with everybody. And if not, so if he's not, so I'll be with you tomorrow as well, with Hashem's help. Okay, everyone should have a good day
Have a
Amen.
good day, a good Chodesh.
and a good Chodesh. Okay, take care. Bye bye.
Bye now.